Hello, hello, hello. This is Joe. What I do is provide topics for deep introspection. And as always, I'm going to jump into it. What I'm going to try to do, I have no clue. Those that may be watching my videos, whatever, but I'm going to offer my understanding, my interpretation of the Philadelphia experiment. Now, some of you out there may have perhaps heard of this. There was a movie that was done surrounding this US government military wise experiment. So, what I'm going to do first is I'm trying to lay a foundation. What I did here, I want people to understand, at least come to a conclusion, that the only reason that anybody can see you or see anything else is because of these two properties. At the very surface, there's a negative polarity. At the core, there is a positive polarity. Now, this can be interchanged, but what essentially allows us to see even this pen is it having two polarities, a positive and a negative. Now, what would happen if you would remove one of the polarities from anything? Well, as I just stated, the reason why we see things is because of a duality existing, showing you two polarities. Now, if you're able to put it this way, if you're able to, because you should not be able to, and you will not be able to, I don't believe, be able to get rid of the internal core. We're just going to work with this positive core. So if you cannot get rid of this positivity at the core, if you can put something around this core that's going to keep the positive charge within this circle, within this Starbucks cap, then as far as the surface, which is negatively charged, it will not be a ground for the positive energy that is supposed to come from the core. This right here would cease to be visible, yet it would still be there. I asked myself the other day, we have this sci-fi stuff we pay attention to, and people thinking it's a hell of a deal to be invisible and everything, and no one really gave it thought, or maybe a lot of people did. They've come up with contraptions to refract light, to get the light that is behind a person and project that in front of them, instead of essentially, as I'm stating right here, you want anything to become invisible, you need only shield one of its polarities, either the positive or the negative. Now that is going to make something disappear and yet still be there, leading into the Philadelphia experiment. This experiment, I'm often puzzled how the US government has been, from a very young onset, especially around the 40s, or just before the 40s, really investing in experimenting uh, pertaining certain technologies that people did not even understand then, a full understanding then, and vaguely understand it now. The Philadelphia experiment was essentially trying to, as they say, cloak U.S. warships, make them disappear. Hmm. So, if I would, let me add all this back together real quick for you. The reason why we see any and everything is because there's a shared polarity that exists. If you block one of these polarities, the positive or the negative, it's going to render it invisible. Period. We see what we see because of two polarities. You get rid of one of them, you're not going to see it no more. Doesn't mean it's not there, you just won't see it. Now, the Philadelphia experiment, what they thought they would do is cloak, make invisible warships so they can be sneaky and all that, right? So, theoretically, still using this, what I did here, I said surface is negative, the core is positive. This will equal to being illumination or seen. Remove or mask either polarity renders invisible. Making things invisible is not hard as people think. You just got to have the right machinery. And the US government has for the longest had that has for the longest have that type of machinery or technology. Area 51. So, what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to state this Philadelphia experiment, right? We're going to use the same drawing I got here. Except what we're going to do here, we're going to say that this circle is humans as well as the ship. So this in complete circle, just because I do remember this and I stated this the other day, if I'm not mistaken, USS Eldridge. Um, this USS Eldridge has on it humans as well as the ship itself, right? The ship has a positive charge, the actual source that causes it to go, to move. And from the core of what causes the ship to move, its engine, it's positively charged, interaction, explosions, diesels, I think they perhaps had. Diesels, fire, high frequency, positive charge. They have the remainder of the ship itself, which is the hull, the ship, the metal, which is negatively charged. The surface, the ship. So I just spoke here about a ship, the USS Eldridge, that on its surface, the metal, it's all negatively charged. And at the core of this ship, the USS Eldridge, is a engine that is a high combustion engine. High combustion, high frequency, high vibration, positive. So that's the ship. Now, the other side of this, as I wrote, is humans. These are sailors. And this will apply to every person, whether they are a sailor or not. At our core as humans, we have a high frequency vibrational energy that we can't identify. Some people call it our soul, our spirit, whatever the hell it is. If you were born on the earth, you are fire energy. Where does your energy come from if it's fire? What's the hottest thing in our solar system? The sun. That's where your energy comes from. You being born on this earth. Every last single one of us. Our energy comes from the sun. And our energy coming from the sun says that we receive everything from the sun. Everything, including healing. 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 Don't need to go to no doctor. Get out there get out there underneath the sun and sunbathe. The sun is going to provide you with the frequency that you need to come back within tolerances of the frequency that you need to be to operate the way you need to operate. So at our core, every human, we're positively charged. As you come from the core of a human to the surface, the skin, our skin is negatively charged. So just as a ship has a core engine, a human has a core that powers it. We say spirit, soul, whatever. A ship has an exterior metallic, which is grounding, negative. Humans have a skin, which is negatively charged, surface. I'm going to take this a step further. The earth, at its core, it is a very hot, high frequency vibrational energy at the earth's core. So I'll quiz you guys. What is the earth's surface then? Negatively charged. Very good. Now, let's get into the Philadelphia experiment. We want to make a ship which has a positive inner core and a negative surface. We want to make this ship disappear. So what did I say we do? We cover up one of the polarities, positive or negative, so that we could render it invisible. Now, what we're not going to be able to do, what I would think, is to remove the negative charge from surrounding the ship. If anything, a ship entire makeup structure is going to be negative charge, while just the center of the ship, the engine per se, is the only place going to be high frequency vibrating. So what we're going to seek to do is have this negative charge, which is the surface of the ship itself, to mask any other charge, including the positive charge. Now, in doing this, we also have to, or they had to, the Philadelphia experiment. I hope they had to compensate, and I just realized that they didn't. They had to compensate with bombarding the Philadelphia, the USS Eldridge, with bombarding the USS Eldridge with negatively magnetic charge uh, energy, more negatively charged magnetic energy to mask the core of the ship. This increase of magnetic negative energy would also have to fall over to the humans because to make the ship invisible, you're going to have to make anything that's positively charged on that ship disappear or be totally blanketed by a negative charge. And that's what happened. What I'm believing, they introduced a magnetic field, pure negativity, to render the USS Eldridge positive at the core, negative at the surface. From that negative surface, they turned on their machine, whatever the hell, and it produced a magnetic field, pure negativity, which would overshadow the core of the ship as well as the core of the humans. This allowed the U.S. Eldridge to be, as they stated, disappear. But in doing that, what I did not, or what I do not think that they thought would happen, didn't even think this, didn't even calculate this. You see, while they had created this negative magnetic energy to mask the positive core of the ship, as well as mask the positive core of the humans, what they did not understand is that they were on the Earth. The Earth itself has a positive core, and the surface of the Earth is negative, right? Which means on the ocean itself is negative. They did not anticipate the Earth itself. They did not anticipate the fact that the Earth was moving at 800 to 1,000 miles per hour. And that the surface of the Earth is negatively charged. So when they blanketed the USS Eldridge in a magnetic field of pure negativity, masking the ship's core, its power, as well as the humans that were on board it, masking it, pure negativity, it allowed for this ship to not only disappear, but become one with the surface of the Earth. And the Earth was moving at what? 800 to 1,000 miles per hour. So, what happened to USS Eldridge that became one with the negative surface of the Earth? What happened to the shipmates, the sailors that were also on the USS Eldridge that were positively charged at their core and had their core blanketed by this magnetic negative field? The ship, as well as its sailors, became one with the Earth's surface, which was negatively charged and spinning at 800 to 1,000 miles per hour. And that's why when the U.S. Eldridge finally was able to be seen again, it was not in the place where they had last seen it because it had gone in a complete evolution around the surface of the Earth. And when they turned the machine off, which allowed for the ship's positive core to once again be uh, illuminated, also allow the humans' positive core to be expressed. That's a better way of saying it. They found that the humans were melded to the ship, the structure. Why? Because humans' body, surface, skin is negatively charged. The ship, body, surface is negatively charged. So when it was turned off, things that were negatively charged were to be where there are to be negatively charged things, be that the surface of a ship or be that the human body. Everything was out of place. This, as I stated again before, is not something that I thought they even paid attention to. Because when they turned on their machine to induce this negative magnetic field to mask the engines on the ship, as well as the energy inside of the humans, making everything negative, the ship was able to disappear and move at 800 to 1,000 miles per hour. And when they turned it off, the ship ended up somewhere else. And the negativity no longer being used to suppress the positive energy allowed everything that was negative to function in the way they were supposed to. The ship's surface is negative. It's negative. It's restored. Humans, vessel, the body, it's negative. It's allowed to be negative. It's right on board of a ship that's negative. Polarity doesn't differentiate between metal and human flesh. It differentiates just by polarity. And that's why you had sailors that were half out of the bulkhead, the floor, because when they cut the machine off, it went to the separation between the polarities. Where it was one polarity, everything was negative, and then they turned it off. Now there's two polarities. Everything went to the position that it was supposed to be based on this polarity. So again, I do not think these people that did the Philadelphia experiment, they did not bear in mind the speed that the earth was moving at. And if they did it back then, the information that they should have today would say that that is not a mistake that they would make. That would not be a mistake that they will make today. Why is this important? Because a lot of people, at least for me, seem to think that for entertainment purposes, they, provide us with off the wall type of deals, planes, cars flying, disappearing, cloaking, and all this and that. Repeat after me. Anything can become invisible if you cover or mask one of the polarities. Anything can become invisible. The fact that there is polarity, a positive and a negative, it is the reason why we see everything. This piece of paper has both a polarity, positive and negative. Our existence as humans is as a result of a duality consisting of a polarity. You mask one of them, you're going to render anything invisible. Invisibility is not complicated. You just have to decide which are you going to mask. Simple as that.